GOP field for next year's presidential election is beginning to take shape as two major Republicans have declared their intentions for 2012. Now we begin in Mississippi, where Governor Haley Barbour has announced that he will not seek the Republican nomination. Now that means his supporters and his endorsement are now up for grabs. And meanwhile, as you heard for the first time last night right here on this program, Texas Congressman Ron Paul is in. He made it official today in Iowa. Let's take a look.
Today, I'm announcing that I did file for an exploratory committee with the FEC to run for president on the Republican ticket. I believe there are literally millions of more people now concerned about the very things I talked about 4 years ago. It will be a much, much more significant campaign if it comes to a campaign announcement when that comes about.
And now many are waiting to see if billionaire Donald Trump will throw his hat in the race. He continues to make waves in the 2012 waters and is once again raising questions about President Obama's past. Let's take a look.
He went to Occidental. I heard he was a terrible student. Not like, okay, I heard he was a bad student. How does a bad student then go to Columbia and then go to Harvard? How does this happen? He's a bad student, gets into Columbia, top school, gets into Harvard, top school. He's a bad student. How does this happen?
What are you suggesting?
Well, I'm thinking about it. I'm certainly looking into it.
And joining me with analysis, Fox News contributor Andrea Tantaros and the host of Varney and Company on the Fox Business Network, Stuart Varney, back with us. Guys, good to see you.
Good to see you.
You know, the more and more I listen to Donald Trump, there's a great mystery around Obama. We don't have his grades. We don't have his thesis. We don't know how he got into these schools. As the Drudge Report pointed out today, even though I think he was born in the U.S., just release the stupid birth certificate, move on. Why are they playing it this way, the White House?
It's a great question. And if they wanted to quash the story, they would just release the documents, especially the transcripts. I mean, maybe Obama was a bad student. Well, he's not a dumb guy. We know that. He's not stupid. He's very bright. But just release the transcripts. He's making this worthy of primetime television because they're not releasing it. The man who calls himself the most transparent isn't, and he could stop this if he would just release it.
But the virtue of Donald Trump and what he adds to the equation is that he goes straight at it. The guy is not afraid to raise subjects which other people might dance around. You know exactly what the guy is saying. I think that this Donald Trump, he could affect the political process, even though he might stay outside the political process.
Look, I had him on radio today. We've had him on this program, and I will tell you that more and more I think he's actually getting in. And today I said, all right, well, let's deal with some of the substantive issues. He once was for universal health care. He once was for a one-time millionaire's tax. These are not conservative positions. Right. And his answer was, this is a very different time. Is that a good answer?
Yes, it is a good answer, and you should let him speak. Republicans should listen to what he has to say. Look, I think he's absolutely getting in, and I think he has a very good chance of winning New Hampshire.
You do?
I think Trump was doing Chris Christie before Chris Christie was doing Chris Christie. I mean, that kind of real talk, none of this political mumbo-jumbo, finger in the wind, we need a bold, robust, durable. Stop all that. Just give us the real story.
Right, but when you look at the Club for Growth, when you look at Thomas Sowell and other prominent conservatives, Mark Levin, another one, that have come out strongly against him, say that his shifting positions are for political expediency, his donations to Democrats. He has to get that base if he's going to win the nomination for the Republican Party. Look, can he capture the base in spite of the different positions he's taken?
No, I really don't think he can.
I don't think he can.
No, I think he's a complete outsider, making a great deal of noise and, to some degree, doing a great deal of good. Look at China. It emerged this week that China has reserves for $3 trillion. Those are dollars, and Trump comes right out with it and says, they got it from us. We want it back. We're going to put a 25% tax on anything from China that comes to America.
That's protectionism.
But yes, it is. And it's the law of unintended consequences. He would set off a trade war. But everybody knows exactly what he's saying and exactly where he's coming from. And that's the appeal.
And Sean, look at the rest of the conservative field. Conservatives have issues with all of them. Mitt Romney for Romney Care. Look at Mike Huckabee. He was criticized for not being fiscally conservative. They go after Tim Pawlenty on some issues in his home state. They have a beef with all of them. Gingrich for his past.
And Trump, to his credit, brought all that up today. And I think every candidate definitely has their pluses and minuses, and everyone's going to have to answer. All right, let me ask you this. I've got to ask an economic question, because let's start with the Standard & Poor's going from stable to negative. Then we got the IMF basically saying the age of America will end. Then we've got this guy, Bill Gross, giant bond investment company. He dumps all his treasuries. Then we've got the Wall Street Journal. The U.S. dollar's downward slide is accelerating as low interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. It's undermining our currency is their conclusion. Then we've got Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, is investing overseas because it's now the dollar fell to an 18-and-a-half-month low against the euro. We got China lecturing us on capitalism. The housing market is down, food prices, oil prices are up. But what does this mean for Obama's reelection? My question.
Oh, I think the man's in serious trouble. If you have, by next year, you've still got $4 gas, you've got a plunging dollar, you've got America's standing in the world still very much diminished, and you've got 8% or better unemployment, I don't think you can re-elect Barack Obama.
Agree with you. Agree completely.
Agree completely. But as his advisor told the New Yorker, he's leading from behind. He's comfortable in this crouch. They really believe that, leading from behind.
It's Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Carter.
Look, I'll even take it a step further. I think he is accelerating an American decline.
Yes.
And
if you take
in
a
serious way. And a world decline because America looks to the world.
You take a snapshot picture of America right now. We have become more of a handout nation. Less a nation where work and pay are at the very center of our financial culture. We're declining in our stature in the world, and our currency is becoming not worthless, but it's coming way, way down. That's not a pretty picture for America going into an election year with Barack Obama wanting a second term. Tough road to hoe.
Good to see you, guys. Thank you very much.